In 1983, the stars faded away as Return of the Jedi came to an end, and millions of Star Wars fans slowly came to realize over the next few years, Star Wars was done. Sure, Lucas said he would one day get back to it and tell the story of young Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, but as the years went by, very little was ever said. From about 1985 to 1997, very little Star Wars could even be found in stores. The toy sections were empty until the early 90s. About that same time, Heir to the Empire was becoming a huge successful novel, and Star Wars had relaunched in comic book form thanks to Dark Horse Comics. But to the mainstream world, Star Wars had become a, hey, do you remember Star Wars type of movie. It wouldn't be until 1997 when Star Wars returned, at least to most of those in the public, with the re-release of all three films in the theaters as special editions. The first trailer was released in mid-1996, and fans would go online to try to nail down where it was being shown, or how they could see it over the internet. A trailer for the film was a huge file that would take hours to download, and when you did watch it, it was about the size of a postage stamp. But as the trailer grew hype online, mainstream was getting excited also. When the first special edition started, CNN would direct a whole news day to the event, showing fans old and new standing in line for the movie. A movie that had already been released on home video a number of times and been on television for over 10 years. But how huge was the special editions release? Since 1997, a lot of movies have been re-released and would bring in $10 to $30 million. In 1997, a mainstream movie getting a major re-release sounded crazy. Movie experts would say it was a bold move. Some called it crazy, saying no one would pay $10 for a movie they could see at home that was 20 years old. Some that did believe Star Wars would get people back in the seat said it would probably make about $10 million on opening weekend. So how well did the special editions do? First, let's look at the normal opening weekend gross for new movies of the time. The summer of 1996, Independence Day opened with a weekend gross of $50 million. However, it was released on a Wednesday, so those numbers don't factor in. The second biggest movie of 1996 was Twister, which brought in $42 million opening weekend. The biggest movie of 1997 would be Men in Black, and it would gross $51 million its opening weekend. So it's clear that a big summer movie would land probably around $35 to $55 million opening weekend. So how would a 20-year-old movie do? Star Wars would open on January 31st and rake in $35 million opening weekend, which would put it on par with those big summer movies. It would go on to earn a total of $130 million. A few weeks later, The Empire Strikes Back would open, and that opening weekend number would drop to $21 million, pulling in a total of $97 million. Not as good as A New Hope, but still not bad for our old movie. A few weeks later, Return of the Jedi was released, and it would bring in $16 million opening weekend and pull in $49 million altogether. By the end of the year, Jedi would make less of the three movies, and find itself a lot lower on the top grossing movies of 1997. Coming in at number 49. Empire would do better, coming in at the 22nd highest grossing film of the year. But the original Star Wars would shock everyone when it became the fifth biggest movie of 1997. A 20-year-old movie would be number 5. The others on that list would be Air Force One at number 4, Liar Liar at 3, the second Jurassic Park at number 2, and Men in Black would be number 1 with a total of $250 million. The success would start up a string of re-releases, from Jaws to E.T. to Wizard of Oz, but none could ever come close to the numbers that Star Wars did. And the 1997 special edition put Star Wars back in the public eye. And to me, it's what I like to say is when Star Wars became of age. It's when Star Wars became the icon it is today. Ever since the re-releases in 1997, Star Wars has not faded from the public eye. You can walk into any store, you can find Star Wars on potato chips, candy bars, drinks, toys, clothes. Almost every section in the store, you can find something Star Wars. Well, that's a look at the special editions and what they grossed. Do you remember seeing it back in 1997? Tell me your thoughts on that. And, man, did you love that first trailer as much as I did? To me, it's probably still one of the best trailers ever made. Well, I want to thank you for watching. Thumbs up, like my content. Subscribe to the channel. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.